It hurts so much. Please help me.
The crash came first. The wheelchair slammed sideways against the wall, metal screeching across marble, and for a split second everyone froze. Maids, guards, even the billionaire standing at the foot of the staircase. Then the screaming began. No, no, no. Mila Ashbourne hit the floor hard, her small body shaking as she clutched her lower back, fingers digging into her nightdress like she was trying to pull something out of herself. Her face twisted in pain so sharp it stole the breath from anyone watching. Naomi Cruz dropped the laundry basket and ran. "Mila," she cried, sliding to her knees beside the girl. "Look at me. Look at me." Mila's teeth chattered. "It's burning," she sobbed. "It's happening again. Please, please don't let them give me the shot." Julian Ashbourne stormed forward. "What happened?" His voice was calm, controlled, the way it always was when everything inside him was breaking. "Why is she on the floor?" "The brace is locked," one guard said quickly. She tried to stand. Julian's jaw tightened. "She knows better." Mila screamed at that, a raw, animal sound. "I can't breathe when it hurts. Daddy, it hurts. Make it stop." Naomi pressed a hand gently against Mila's shoulder. "She didn't do this on purpose," she said, breathless. "She was trying to get to the window. She said the pain was coming." Julian's eyes snapped to her. "You step away from my daughter." Naomi hesitated. Mila grabbed her wrist with surprising strength. "Don't send her away," she cried. "She listens. She knows." Julian's chest rose slowly. "Mila, let go." "She makes it better," Mila begged. "The doctors make it worse." "That did it?" Julian turned sharply to the guards. "Call Dr. Heller. Prepare the injection." Mila's eyes widened in terror. "No. Please. Please, Daddy, no." Naomi felt something inside her snap. "Stop," she said. The word wasn't loud, but it landed like a slap. Everyone stared at her. "I said stop," Naomi repeated, her voice shaking now. "You're hurting her." Julian laughed once, sharp and humorless. "You're a maid. You clean floors. You don't tell me how to treat my child." Naomi swallowed. "I know. But I've watched her for months. And every time she gets that injection the pain gets worse. Not better." "That's impossible," Julian snapped. "She has a degenerative condition. It's documented." Mila cried harder. "It feels like something is stabbing me from the inside." Julian looked down at his daughter, at the tears soaking her hair, and for just a second the mask cracked. Then he hardened again. "Take her to the medical room," he ordered. "Now." The guards moved. Mila screamed and wrapped both arms around Naomi's waist. "Don't let them. Please. Naomi, please." Naomi closed her eyes. She remembered her sister. 12 years old. Misdiagnosed. Over-medicated. Ignored until it was too late. "Sir," Naomi said quietly, "there's something wrong with her back." Julian stopped. "What did you say?" Naomi met his gaze. "Not her brain. Not her nerves. Her lower spine. There's something there that shouldn't be." Silence fell heavy. Dr. Heller arrived minutes later, irritation written all over his face. "This again?" he muttered. "Julian, we discussed this. Pain flare-ups are expected." Naomi couldn't stop herself. "Have you ever actually touched her where it hurts?" The doctor scoffed. "I've reviewed every scan." "But have you touched her?" Naomi pressed. Julian's patience snapped. "Enough. Get her out of here." Two guards grabbed Naomi by the arms. Mila screamed like she was being torn apart. "Don't take her." Julian flinched. Naomi twisted desperately. "Mila, listen to me," she said quickly. "I'm not leaving you. I promise." "How?" Mila cried. Naomi hesitated, then said the words that would change everything. "I'll come back tonight." Julian's eyes went cold. "If you take one more step toward my daughter, I'll have you arrested." Naomi nodded. "I understand." She was escorted out, Mila's screams echoing down the hall long after the doors closed. That night, the mansion was quieter than ever. Mila lay in bed, shaking, the injection burning through her veins. Tears rolled silently into her pillow. She tapped twice on the mattress, the signal Naomi had taught her for "I'm scared." The door creaked open. Naomi slipped inside, heart pounding so hard she was sure it could be heard down the hall. "Mila," she whispered. Mila gasped. "You came." Naomi knelt beside the bed. "Of course I did." "It hurts," Mila said weakly. "Right here." She guided Naomi's hand to her lower back. Naomi's fingers froze. There was something there. Art. Unmoving. Not bone. Naomi's breath caught. "Mila, did you ever have surgery when you were a baby?" Mila frowned. "Daddy says I had something put in to help me grow." Naomi's blood ran cold. "A stabilizing implant. Temporary." Her mother had talked about cases like this years ago. Devices meant to be removed. Forgotten. Left to calcify. "Does it feel like it's pushing?" Naomi asked. Mila nodded, tears spilling again. "Like it's trying to get out." Naomi stood slowly. She knew what she was about to do would cost her everything. But she also knew that if she didn't act, this child would spend her life screaming in silence. "Listen to me," Naomi said softly. "I need you to be very brave." Mila swallowed. "Will it stop hurting?" Naomi nodded. "Yes." Outside, footsteps approached. Naomi made her decision. Naomi locked the door softly behind her, her hands shaking so badly she had to press them together to steady herself. Mila watched her with wide, terrified eyes. "Are you going to leave again?" Mila whispered. "No," Naomi said firmly. "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." Footsteps passed outside the room. Naomi waited until they faded before kneeling beside the bed again. She gently lifted Mila's nightdress just enough to expose her lower back. "There's something inside you," Naomi said, her voice barely holding together. "It's not supposed to be there anymore." Mila's lip trembled. "Is that why the medicine hurts me?" "Yes," Naomi said. "They're treating something that isn't the real problem." Mila squeezed her eyes shut. "Can you make it stop?" Naomi hesitated for only a second. "I can try. But you need to trust me." "I do," Mila said immediately. "I trust you more than anyone." The words hit Naomi like a punch to the chest. She moved quickly now, afraid that if she stopped to think, she'd lose her nerve. From her apron pocket, she pulled out a small first aid kit she'd grabbed on the way in. She sterilized her hands, her breath shallow and uneven. "Mila," she whispered, "if it hurts too much, you tell me and I stop. Do you understand?" Mila nodded. "Please don't stop." Naomi pressed gently along the hardened ridge beneath the skin. Mila cried out, her fingers digging into the sheets. "I'm here," Naomi said urgently. "Look at me. Breathe with me." Mila gasped, tears streaming down her face. "Naomi, I'm scared." "I know," Naomi said, her own eyes burning. "I'm scared too. But you're not alone." With careful, shaking hands, Naomi worked slowly, releasing the pressure bit by bit. Sweat poured down her spine. Every second felt like a lifetime. Then it happened. There was a sharp cry, one final push. And suddenly Mila went still. For a horrifying moment, Naomi thought she'd hurt her. "Mila," she whispered. "Mila, talk to me." Mila's eyes flew open. "It's gone," she breathed. Naomi froze. "What do you mean?" "The pain," Mila said, her voice stunned. "It's gone." She moved her legs experimentally. Naomi's heart slammed violently in her chest. "Can you feel them?" Mila laughed, a sound so pure Naomi nearly collapsed. "I can feel everything." Slowly, carefully, Mila swung her legs over the edge of the bed. Naomi reached for her. "Wait, please. Let me help you." Mila placed her feet on the floor. She stood. For a second she wobbled. Naomi held her breath. Then Mila straightened. I'm standing, Mila whispered. Naomi. I'm standing. Tears streamed down Naomi's face. Yes, she sobbed. Yes, you are. The door flew open. What is going on in here? Julian Ashbourne's voice thundered through the room. Naomi turned slowly. Julian froze. His daughter stood before him. No braces. No wheelchair. No support. Mila, he whispered. What are you doing? Mila took a step toward him. Then another. Daddy, she said, her voice shaking with joy. It doesn't hurt anymore. Julian staggered back like he'd been struck. That's not possible. Naomi held up the small hardened object wrapped in gauze. This is what was hurting her. Julian's face twisted with fury. You touched her? He roared. You had no right. Guards flooded the room. Take her, Julian shouted. Now. No. Mila screamed, running forward. Don't take her. She saved me. Two guards grabbed Naomi's arms. Mila clung to her waist, sobbing. Daddy, please? Mila cried. She fixed me when no one else could. Julian's chest heaved. His hands shook. Get her out, he said hoarsely. Before I do something I regret. Naomi was dragged away, her heart breaking as Mila's cries echoed behind her. Hours later, the mansion was in chaos. Doctors surrounded Mila, running tests, scans, blood work. Julian stood in the corner, pale and silent. Dr. Heller stared at the screen, his face draining of color. This implant, he stammered. It was meant to be temporary. Julian's head snapped up. What do you mean temporary? It should have been removed years ago, the doctor admitted quietly. I see the original report now. Julian grabbed him by the collar. You missed this. The doctor swallowed. It was overlooked. Julian laughed, a broken, hollow sound. Overlooked? My daughter screamed for 10 years. Mila looked up from the bed. Daddy, am I broken? Julian rushed to her side, collapsing to his knees. No, he whispered fiercely. You were never broken. He closed his eyes, tears finally spilling. I was blind. An hour later, Julian stood outside the security room. Naomi sat inside, her hands folded, her future uncertain. The door opened. Julian stepped in. I was wrong, he said quietly. Naomi looked up, stunned. You did what no one else did, Julian continued. You listened. I just didn't want her to suffer, Naomi said softly. Julian swallowed hard. You saved my daughter. The next morning, Mila walked down the hospital hallway on her own, laughing as her father cried openly beside her. She stopped suddenly and turned to Naomi. You promised you wouldn't leave. Naomi smiled through tears. I'm still here. Julian placed a hand on Naomi's shoulder. You always will be. Sometimes the miracle doesn't come from power, money, or titles. Sometimes it comes from someone brave enough to care. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that compassion can change lives. Leave a comment below. What part touched you the most? Because stories like this deserve to be heard.